So this video is all about Michael Oliver's decision yesterday to not give Bournemouth a red card for a handball. And before you think I'm going overboard making a whole video on this, hear me out, because there's a pattern going on here with a certain Michael Oliver that needs to be called out, and it needs to be called out now. Nobody in the media is even talking about yesterday. Liverpool won, so it's swept under the rug. Not a word about it, even though it was a blatantly incorrect decision. So I've got a lot of stats and data to go through with respect to this fella. So give it a listen before you make up your mind. Now, a few seasons ago, I would say that in most people's opinion, Michael Oliver was one of the best referees that we had in England. Young, progressive, calm, but most of all, he invariably made the right decisions. And if he was refereeing your team, you didn't really have any worries. You saw him on the sheet as the referee, and you never even thought about words like bias or anti your team, and never would anyone have used the word corrupt for him back then. But that was a long time ago, and things have changed. But yesterday's decision to ignore a blatant handball and leave the Bournemouth player on the pitch is the latest in a series of anti-Liverpool and this is important for this video, anti-Arsenal decisions with respect to this fella. And he's being aided and abetted by his bosses, specifically Howard Webb, who's also complicit in this. And, as I say, by the UK media, who absolutely brush this stuff under the carpet whenever it is convenient for them. Liverpool won the game yesterday, so it didn't end up having a bearing on the outcome, but it really could have. You know, a player sent off after 12 minutes or not. And in the end, we won the game in like the 88th minute. The Bournemouth defender, Senesi, clearly misjudged the ball, and because Ekitike was about to burst through, he put his hand out and he handled the ball. The referee missed it, so it went to VAR. Michael Oliver checked it, and the official word from the Premier League was this: the referee's call of no red card to Senesi was checked and confirmed by VAR, Michael Oliver, with the action deemed not to be a clear handball offence, nor denial of a goal-scoring opportunity due to the distance from goal. What a load of bollocks. It's ludicrous, it's nonsensical, and it is an outright lie. To be not deemed a handball offence when the fella actually purposely made a motion with his hand to stop the ball, to stop Ekitike, and you just ignore that. The fact that he's going to break from 45 yards or whatever it was means it's not a goal-scoring opportunity, when that exact scenario has been deemed a goal-scoring opportunity many times before. It's an insult to our collective intelligence. And they do it because they can get away with it, and they continue to get away with it, and Michael Oliver continues to get away with it. And by the way, did you see the look of guilt on Senesi's face? He looked like your dog looks at you when you come home and he's been eating one of your slippers. He looked so guilty. Even that by itself proved his guilt. But as I say, this is just the latest in a series of incidents involving Michael Oliver, Man City, Arsenal and Liverpool. I actually don't think he's anti-Liverpool or anti-Arsenal. He's pro-Man City, and so he's targeting the two teams who are the biggest threat to Man City, and I'm going to explain why. So we have to go back to April 2023, when all of these dodgy decisions started. On April the 18th, 2023, he refereed a match between Al Hilal and Al Nasser in the Saudi Pro League. In September 2023, he refereed a match between Sharjah FC and Al Ain FC in the United Arab Emirates Pro League, along with a couple of others. Now, it's worth mentioning that between 2015 and 2017, Howard Webb, the current boss of the PGMOL, So Oliver's boss and serial protector of Michael Oliver was the head of referees in Saudi Arabia. And who was it who sanctioned the idea of referees going over to referee in Saudi and the United Arab Emirates? Howard Webb. Just 1 year into his job as the head of the PGMOL. It had never happened before. Now, Sheikh Mansour, the Vice President and Deputy Prime Minister of the UAE, owns Man City. The UAE Football Association has also in the past held talks with Man City, with the City Football Group Chief Executive Ferran Soriano about a framework of joint cooperation. Make of that statement what you will. And the UAE Pro League's main sponsor is the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, whose board members include Manchester City chairman Khaldoon Al Mubarak. So how can the PGMOL allow a group of their officials to fly across to Saudi and the UAE and take charge of these games when it's clearly a conflict of interest? Now, the match between Sharjah and Al Ain was refereed by Michael Oliver. It had Dan Cook as his assistant and Darren England as VAR. After that, they flew back to England, and Dan Cook and Darren England were on VAR for a particular game, less than 48 hours after being in the UAE. And that game was Liverpool versus Spurs. That was the game where Liverpool were down to 10 men, and Luis Diaz scored a perfectly good goal, and those two ruled it out. They'd just been over at UAE, you know, where they've got all these ties to Man City, and they made an error because they were tired. Is it just a coincidence? In September 2024, referees were banned from refereeing games in the UAE and Saudi. I wonder why. So let's get on to the extensive catalogue of things that have happened since that infamous trip in April 2023. Now, to put this into perspective, I've already mentioned it, but I'll mention it again. Who are the top 3 teams in England? Who are the ones that are most likely to win the league, who finished basically in the top 2-3 positions for the last several seasons? It's Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City. So if you've got a post-Saudi, post-UAE, Man City bias, which 2 teams would you target? Yeah, Liverpool and Arsenal. And there's a catalogue of anti-Liverpool, anti-Arsenal and pro-Man City decisions made by Michael Oliver over this 2-year time frame. In January 2025, Oliver sent off Lewis Skelly in one of the most outrageously incorrect red card decisions you are ever going to see. A decision met with universal condemnation, including by ex-referee and head of PGMOL, Keith Hackett. Now, as an aside, I did actually 2 or 3 interviews with Keith Hackett towards the end of last season, and I'm going to actually put them out on the channel over the next few days because it dovetails nicely with what this video is all about. So stay tuned for that, because Keith has some very insightful stuff. Anyway, that Lewis Skelly decision is seen by many Arsenal fans as the latest example of a referee who has a significant bias against their team, and they have a really good case as to why, which I'll get into. So what happened to him after this ridiculous red card was inevitably overturned. Given 2 weeks off. That's their solution. Whenever anyone makes a complete and utter cock up, just give them a couple of weeks off. Off you go. Have a paid holiday, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. That's it. That's the end of it. Nothing else. No sanctions. No anything. Oh, and then what did he do? They confirm him as the referee when he comes back for the Merseyside derby, the last one at Goodison, the most supercharged possible fixture, and he gets it. And we all know the disaster he made of that last season, with another catalogue of horrendous decisions throughout the game. And again, he was called out by Keith Hackett for his incompetence. But there's more. Against Fulham in September 2023, 5 months after the UAE trip, Nathan Ake scored a goal with a header. And it was a Man City player, not only in direct line of the keeper, but he jumped over the ball in an offside position to allow the ball to go past the keeper. And Michael Oliver allowed the goal. In the Manchester derby in October 2023, Bernardo Silva fell over in the box after he was touched by Højlund. Wasn't given by the referee, but Michael Oliver on VAR got involved and gave Man City a penalty. It was 0-0 at the time. Now in September 2024, do you remember Michael Oliver sending off Trossard for kicking the ball away? Jeremy Doku kicked the ball 6 or 7 yards away and wasn't penalised because he apparently was just putting the ball back to where the free kick was supposed to be taken. Absolute crap. It wasn't. He kicked the ball away. Go watch it. Don't insult our intelligence. So Doku gets away with it. Trossard sent off. In the same fixture a year before, Michael Oliver was the referee when Kovacic should have been red carded for the first tackle when Oliver gave him a yellow and left him on, and then should have got a red card subsequently by another atrocious tackle that Michael Oliver ignored. Once again, Howard Webb came out and said, oh, yeah, you got that wrong, but he's the best referee we've got. He's one of the best referees in the world. And you know what he actually said? He did not want, this was on his, whatever it's called, Ref Watch with Michael Owen. He said he did not want to have a negative impact on the game. Really? Really? You're the best referee in the world. You know it's a red card. You know that you should have sent this fella off. But for the good of the game, you leave him on. But you don't leave Trossard on for kicking the ball away 2 yards. It's bent. It's not just bias. It's wrong. Chelsea against Man City. When Chelsea take a free kick and Jack Grealish goes like that in the wall. The wall splits and he puts his arm up and it's a penalty. Michael Oliver doesn't give it. Then there's the biggest one of all from a Liverpool perspective. Doku kicking McAllister in the chest in March 2024 in the last seconds of the game with the score at 1-1. And Michael Oliver does not give the penalty. Man City, a few weeks later, won the league title by 2 points. That penalty given and that penalty's converted. Liverpool get 2 extra points and Man City get 1 less, and Liverpool win the title. That's how big these decisions are, and Michael Oliver knows exactly what he was doing. He robbed us of a league title, just like he robbed us yesterday in that game. This is just an example of how big these refereeing decisions can be and how any referee with an agenda like he has got can influence everything. Back to him with Arsenal, a double yellow card for Martinelli in one sequence, 5 seconds apart. They tried to take a throw in and Martinelli pushed the thrower as he took the throw. But he took the throw and he went running off with the ball. So Martinelli legged after him and then he took the fella out with a body check. And Michael Oliver gave a card for the offence on the throw-in and another card 5 seconds later for the offence with a badge. And he sent him off. And I already mentioned the Merseyside derby of last season. Who can forget the shambolic performance of him that day? Not giving Liverpool a clear foul on Mo Salah, allowing Everton to score from a non-existent free kick, ignoring a push in the box on Konate, overplaying the game by several minutes, and then at the end of the game, sending off Curtis Jones, Arne Slot and one of Liverpool's staff. 3 sending off. Or how about the previous Merseyside derby when Jordan Pickford absolutely assaulted Virgil van Dijk with one of the most horrendous tackles ever seen, which put Virgil out for a season, 2 seasons really, because he was never the same for about 6 months after he came back, and Michael Oliver was the referee, and Michael Oliver didn't even give a free kick. There are other examples, I'm sure. If I've missed any obvious ones, leave them in the comments, please, so other people can read them. But there's a few other important facts and figures that only serve to confirm across the entirety of Oliver's time refereeing Liverpool, Man City and Arsenal games. So this is of January of this year. I couldn't find figures since then. But Oliver had refereed 57 Liverpool games, 55 Arsenal games and 50 Man City games. He's given Liverpool 4 red cards that included 3 in the derby. In 57, he's given Arsenal 8 red cards in 55. And Man City, not a single one. Not a single red card in 50 Man City games. What about yellow cards? In those same games, he averages 1.76 yellow cards per game for Arsenal, 1.46 yellow cards for Liverpool, and 1.36 for Man City. Now, Liverpool commit, on average, in these games, 10 fouls per game. Arsenal commit 11, and Man City commit 9. So they're almost exact, 9, 10 and 11 over the course of all those games. And yet Man City are significantly lower in both yellow cards and red cards than both Liverpool and Arsenal. And with those stats, those number of fouls in a game almost being identical, how can one team have 0 red cards and another team have 8? It's just, I mean, it's implausible without there being some level of bias or some level of corruption going on. I haven't cherry-picked the statistics here. These are all real numbers. These are all real events. These are all real decisions made by Michael Oliver. So the patterns are clear. The anti-Liverpool, anti-Arsenal, pro-Man City bias, corruption, whatever you want to call it, is there. It's real. It's there for all to see, but only if you want to see it. And the English media don't want to see it. And Howard Webb doesn't want to see it, or even if he does, the first thing he'll come out with is Michael Oliver's the best referee in the world. Michael Oliver's the best referee in England. They subliminally tell you this every time Michael Oliver makes a complete and utter bollocks of something, and they have to explain it. After that Merseyside derby last year, when all hell broke loose and Keith Hackett came out with his comments about Michael Oliver, you know, the Daily Mirror started that article. Michael Oliver, widely considered the top referee in the country. That was their opening statement. It's subtle, it's subliminal. But they start off the article by telling you, not that he's made another catastrophic error, but that he's the best. That's the first thing you read, is that he's the best. So yes, I know it's only one game into the season, and I know it's only one major error by him so far, that is anti-Liverpool. But it's several seasons of the same pattern by him, specifically after he went on his jollies over to United Arab Emirates on business class and got a wad of money from them. And I, for one, will be watching him in every game that he referees and his VAR this season involving Liverpool, Man City and Arsenal. And I hope that more influential people than me are watching them too. You never walk alone. Cheers to that.